In this lesson, I'm having students compare the difference between product property of exponents to simplify exponential expressions compared to the power property of products to simplify exponential expressions. So that later on in the unit, I want them to have a strong foundation of this so they don't get confused as the exponential expressions get more complicated. So I start off the warm-up with what is the difference between simplifying and solving. And when I call on students, most students say simplifying is get the expression down to the smallest terms, get it as low as you can, simplify it as much as you can, and solving they think of as an answer or result or a solution. And so evaluate, when we talk about the second one, 2 to the third power, we're going to talk about, well, what does 2 to the third power mean? What math operation is actually showing there in a shortened version? And so it's basically repeated multiplication. So it is 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, so that's going to equal 8 when you simplify that by expanding out what exponents actually mean. The third one's already expanded out, how many x's are being multiplied, and so you have 5 x's being multiplied, so that's x to the 5th power, because that's what exponents mean, is how many repeated multiplications of that same expression is being multiplied. X squared being multiplied to the third, it is third to the third power, so you're going to expand that, x squared times x squared times x squared, and then you could simplify that more. Those are 2 x's for each one being multiplied if you expand that out, so that's actually x to the 6th. And then we talk about x and then x to the third, 3 x's being multiplied is going to be x to the 4th. And then this is the one that students really struggle with, is that understanding that any number you write has an understood exponent of 1 there. And so if you had negative 2 to the first power, it's being taken to the third power. So if it's in parentheses, I talk about with them, it stays in parentheses and take it to the third power. So it's parentheses negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. And so we look at those things separately, and so that would be a negative because it's an odd amount of negatives that are being multiplied. And then 2 times 2 times 2, we already had talked about number 2 is 8. So the answer to that is actually negative 8. And then if you look at the x's, it's x to the 4th 3 times when we expand that out, and I show them on the board expanding it out. It's actually 12 x's being multiplied, so that's going to be x to the 12th. And so when you put those together, it is negative 8x to the 12th.